Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Streetside Brewery, located on the east side of Cincinnati, Columbia, Tusculum, in a fantastic little location, brewing delicious beers and serving delicious food. That is where you can go to find community, to find a shoulder, to find peace, solace, to find warmth and comfort. It's a place to go when maybe you're not feeling 100% and you just want to feel a little bit better. You just want to go commiserate with fans. You want to commiserate with the community. You just want to be amongst the people and feel feelings and drink delicious beverages along with them. That's where I go, Streetside Brewery. And I think you should go there too, okay? So thank you to Streetside for partnering with us this 2025 season. We couldn't have done it without you, Streetside. And I mean that genuinely. I mean that financially. And thank you, listener, for checking out Streetside. They've earned your business this year by associating themselves with us. Always a risky proposition. And so you should go reward them with that. So once again, thank you, Streetside. Thank you, listener. Now, on today's episode, you know what we're going to talk about, okay? I don't even have to tell you, okay? The season's over. It's done for. The season is no longer. It has ceased to exist. For FC Cincinnati's sake, there are a handful of other teams still playing. We don't have to worry about that, though. So we talk about it. We talk about it. We talk a little bit about the game. We don't relive it. We just talk about it. It's vibes only episode, okay? The vibes, not great. Not great. But it's okay, okay? It's not a scream and yell, fire everybody kind of episode. It is not, it is not all roses and telling you, hey, everything's going to be fine. We'll do it again next year and we're going to win everything. It's not that, okay? Also in this episode in part 2, we kind of look ahead at what the offseason will bring, both from, hey, what you could expect from the postcast, and 2, what you can expect from the team. So, maybe something to look forward to. But regardless, whatever, enjoy this episode of the postcast as much as you can, which I understand probably isn't going to be all that much. Joining me to talk about that, joined by the Chief, Grayson, I shit you not, is skiing somewhere.
Which, like, the best decision he made. Like,
yeah.
you experienced the Columbus win. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go find a mountain to be on for all this.
Yeah. Good time to get out and celebrate. Enjoy the victories while you got them.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are also down 21-0 right now, so...
Oh man,
we're having a great Sunday night. Let me tell you, like, of all the Sundays I've lived through, this is certainly one of them.
Chief, I at this point in the season, I'm not usually up to speed on Xavier basketball. Did Xavier basketball at least win somewhere around this weekend?
They won earlier today. They beat West Virginia, which was shocking. They're playing in one of those non-exempt, like, cash grab tournaments out in Charleston. So
okay. Well,
so we got one.
Okay, I'll take that. The Cyclones, I think, picked up a win on Friday for what that's worth. But man,
neat. How'd the Cincinnati Roller Girls do? Did they win? Like,
I'll take Kentucky.
I'll take anything at this point. What can we do? Go Bombers? Well, I don't know.
We're a Say Next podcast. We always have been. We always will be.
Yeah, Say Next mock trial, man. Like,
Yep.
We're putting down for the white and blue right there. I don't know. Wow.
Cameraman for the Post used to coach soccer for St. X. So
that is true.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
We gotta get him on.
We are
more
a Bomber
often.
podcast. I know.
Maybe we are. I don't know. Kevin, it has been a struggle.
Yeah.
The last couple hours to really reconcile the position I staked out on the episode on Thursday where this was a house money game.
Yeah, how are we feeling right now?
It was a lot easier to say that before you lose 4-0.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to start out with this. Can I start out just big picture on this?
Yeah. I
hate Lionel Messi. Yeah. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I have a lot of sports hatreds I've had in my life.
Sure.
I hated Albert Pujols when he played for the Cardinals. I hated him. I hated him with every fiber of my being. I hated Albert Pujols.
I think
I hated Jim Edmonds.
Yadier Molina.
Right. Yadier Molina.
Top of the hate chain for
hated
me.
That guy.
For
hated his dumb neck tattoos and the fact that all those sycophants in St. Louis thought he was Yogi Berra and Mike Piazza and, and Pudge Rodriguez and all these players put together.
Yeah.
Hated him. I hated Michael Vick. Hated that guy.
Yeah.
Hated Cam Newton. I hated Drew Brees. I hate Drew Brees possibly more than any human being on the planet other than Lionel Messi. I hated the dumb scar on his face. I hated the whole I saved New Orleans thing. He was a bad person and I hate him. I hate Lionel Messi more than all of these people combined. I just hate the guy. I hate the cult of personality around him. Yeah. I hate that people show up just to root for him at games, in a Lionel Messi jersey with no allegiance to a club, no allegiance to a team. Just, I'm here to cheer for this man personally. I hate that. Yeah. I hate that Apple is paying his contract where they're not offering that ability to any other team in MLS, but they are paying his deal specifically and giving Miami something they otherwise would not have been able to afford on their own, and a competitive advantage that no one else gets. I hate him. And more than I hate losing this game, I hate that he won. I hate that all those people showed up tonight and got to enjoy seeing Leo, seeing the GOAT. I hate that. So I'm not even mad that FC Cincinnati lost. I'm mad that Lionel Messi won. And if that makes me a hater, I don't care.
I think it does by definition.
I don't care. No, I proudly wear that as a badge. I want bad things to happen to him. And bad things didn't happen to him tonight. And in fact, quite the opposite. And that makes me feel annoyed because it's one thing to be a hater. It's another thing to be a hater when the person you're hating on is shoving it right back in your face. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. It's way easier and better to be a hater when that person is struggling. That person is not doing that well.
No, when I was in college and when I was in law school, which is way less defensible because I was older. I went to, we'll say, an Ohio State University, College of Law, not the Ohio State University. But we used to go to football games. And I would, because I was, if we're being honest, kind of an asshole, I would just pick one random person on the sidelines of the teams we were playing and just heckle that person relentlessly through the game, like a backup long snapper or a fifth string wide receiver. It was just we'll pick you at random and I'm just going to be on you for the rest of the night. It's all your fault when something goes wrong. Your teammates don't like you. Your coach doesn't like you. Being a hater for that person is fun because they can't hurt you back.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Unless they score a touchdown and then they run directly at you.
I was escorted out of a couple stadiums by police, not because I was doing anything wrong, but because the other team's fans were getting very angry at what we were doing. They're like, we fear for your safety.
Oh, Chief. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We could have used that energy tonight from some of the players on the field. That would have been nice. I mean, I'm not going to sit here. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I have a take. Tell me whether or not you agree with this. I feel like this entire team tonight was too respectful of their opponent.
Mm.
And in a way, they weren't for Columbus, whereas Columbus was a very physical game and there was a lot going both ways. It felt like the team on the field tonight was too respectful and too deferential towards Miami. And that was annoying to me.
I think you're largely correct. What kills me, though, is I think you were more correct after the first goal. I think up until that moment, honest to God, I was totally calm and fine with how everything was going. Like, we had the better chances. We were consistently getting into their box and making great crosses, and guys were getting shots off, and things looked good. And while sure, Miami had the ball, they were not dangerous with it right up until they score. And after that point, you're exactly right. It was backing off. They weren't crunching the tackles anymore. You know, the tackles weren't crunching. They weren't knocking guys over as much. It really felt like the air was let out of the team, and there was nothing else that they had left to dig into to get them out. There was no more like willpower to draw from the well, and it was game. Like, after the first goal, I wasn't out of it. Like, mentally, I was like, oh no, we still got this. Like, you know, that's a fluke play. We knew they were going to score one. Of course, it's Messi almost assisting his own goal here. MLS assisting his own goal here. We still got this. Like, what we were doing was more repeatable. I believe we had 2 goals in us, no problem. But the team didn't feel that way, I guess, and just refused to play in such a way that you would think that they wanted to win.
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely wanted to win. They were up for it in the first part of this game. And there were chances. They had some interesting patterns of play. I thought that, as we talked about earlier in the week, I thought that, you know, having Ender Echenike out on the field was a big deal for this team. Ender looked consistently like the most dangerous player on the pitch. But what ended up happening is that there was too many empty possessions, too many attempting to the patterns we've seen when this team hasn't been playing well, that we're trying to play the perfect ball and it doesn't go through. Or whenever the team would go down the left-hand side with Lucas Engel, the ball ended up in the crowd because he did not have a great game. He was not on his game.
Yeah. And
the problem that we've had all year with this FC Cincinnati team is that, you know, that they're heavily reliant on the stars showing up in big moments. Like, are the best players going to be there to do something spectacular in the big moments? They were in the first round against Columbus. Is that when they needed big plays, they got them from Brenner. Or in the first game against Columbus, Kevin Denke comes up in a big moment. Yep. And in this game, Evander, Brenner, and Denke were mostly ineffective during the course of the match. And in those situations, someone else needs to step up. And who was going to be the person that stepped up? There was no one there. It was, you know, Ender played well, but there wasn't anything that, you know, he could do to find a finished product. Pavel Buka was mostly invisible. I thought he played poorly in this game overall. Yeah. There just wasn't anything there. And in the absence of having that, you go down 1, and now you're in a position where you have to chase the game, and you open yourself up for a second and a third and a fourth. And that's the problem when you don't find your way back in down 1-0, is that you have to eventually start taking more and more risks, more and more challenges. And what happened. Like, there's not a lot else you can say about it. There was no positives. It was as bad as the second loss against Columbus. There was no silver linings. There was nothing to take from it. It was you got your ass kicked. Yeah. On a night. I don't know. To me, there's not a lot of heavy analysis other than that. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't the first goal. I guess you could pin that on Nick Hagland, but there was I don't even want to pin it on Nick, because there was nobody that was playing physical defense on Lionel Messi. And
any defense on Messi on that play.
Yeah, and it's just, he gets to walk wherever he wants and run wherever he wants, and there's no one that's challenging him, no one that wants to put a body on him, and I don't know why. I don't know why you're not willing to do that. And the only thing I can take away from it is maybe that there's too many people that respect the legend that is Lionel Messi and doesn't want to be the person that, does something wrong. But I'm sorry, like, I need someone there that doesn't respect a legend and is there like, I want to beat him, as opposed to I am honored to be playing on the same field with him, which is how it felt tonight. I
go back and watch like Pele highlights, and you will see the most egregious fouling you've ever seen in your life. He was taken out of at least one, I think 2 World Cups for just being beaten, as far as I can tell, just beaten on the field. Like, teams were not going to put up with it. I guess it's possible, Chief, that Messi has a superpower of avoiding cheap shots and being fouled, which players have mentioned before. Like, it is a known phenomenon. I think Landon Donovan talked about trying to foul Messi, but he was just like weirdly, evasive there. But like, how are we more aggressive with Diego Rossi than we are with Messi? Like, of the 2 players, which one would you rather hit more? Which one would you rather sit on the ground more?
I think it's hero worship. It's hero worship for a lot of these people. And this person is, I don't respect Lionel Messi. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like,
he's the enemy right then and there. Right. You can respect him tomorrow. You can respect him yesterday. You don't need to respect him today.
Right. And, I rooted for a team. I root for a team that had Tom Brady on the team. Tom Brady's a man. He's an incredible football player, but that didn't stop people from sacking him, from hitting him, from doing all these things. Like, what I watched tonight was, I watched a team that felt like they were in awe of the legend on the field. I didn't feel that in previous games where Leo Messi was playing against FC Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Tonight it felt like the moment got too big for a lot of players. And I'm sorry, he is on the other team. He draws a paycheck. He laces his boots up. He still wears a jersey or a kit with the MLS logo on the side. He's fair game to be taken out with a tackle, to be bodied or shoulder to shoulder, or to be played physical. And you do not have to respect his legacy in this individual game. You can do that off the field. You can do that in all these other times. On the field, I was looking for someone to step up and set a tone tonight for this team, and nobody did. And that's sort of bigger picture. I do think that's something this team has to address, is that I don't think this year was an unsuccessful season as a result of how it ended. I know Grayson may have different takes on that. I know you might have a different take on that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was unsuccessful, all things totaled. But what I do look at is, I look at where was this team good over the course of the year and where was this team deficient over the course of the year. And there are a lot of things you can say on both sides, but the thing for me tonight was that, we've talked about it on this show before, and that's that this was a team that just didn't have killers on the roster. They did not have people who had I refuse to lose this game. I refuse. Yeah. Lucho was a killer. He was an ultra competitor, almost like to the detriment of the players he played with.
Right.
But like, Matt Miazga is a killer, a competitor, like just someone who wants to win, or even not even wants to win, that hates losing so much that it motivates all sorts of other actions, both good and bad. Yerson Mosquera was a player like that. to a certain extent, I even think that Arias was a player like that as well. On this team right now, the 11 they put out there tonight, there's just not a lot of killers on that team. Like, there's good players.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that this is like we need to clean house. We need to get rid of this player. We need to get rid of that player. I just think that there needs to be room on this roster for someone who is just a dog, like a killer, a tone setter of a personality. And that just wasn't there tonight. And it's the guy wearing the captain's armband. We're going to spend a lot of time this offseason talking about the idea of making Miles Robinson a designated player. I think he's a very talented player. Yep. He has said in interviews that leadership thing is something that he does not come naturally to him, that he is working on still. And that like attitude of I refuse to lose this soccer match. I don't know that that's him. And I don't know what it means going into next year that person is going to be your captain. I don't know. Am I over? Like, I know this is like jock. This is like jock. Like, yo, we need
cliched
more
sports radio. Yeah.
Right. Sports radio bullshit that, we need more heart. We need guys that play the right way. We need people that hustle, that grind. But like, it really felt that way tonight watching this team.
That has been the story of this team all year, is that, everybody would say that they are overperforming their XG. They're underperforming for the talent that they have on the field, that they are getting lucky, that, whatever they're doing is they're stuck in second gear. They're stuck in third gear. I heard various numbers of gears that they were stuck in, but
they weren't never in top gear. Like Jeremy Clarkson available right now. I get that.
We were never redlining, at a very high speed here. And I think that's where that comes down to, is like you were just looking for another kick in the ass. And they did receive smaller versions of that. Ender Echenike joining this team as a version of that. Guidi was an injection of youth and spontaneity in the midfield that this team absolutely needed. And frankly, Brenner, I think before tonight, I would have told you is a killer. We saw that in Game 3 against Columbus. Yeah. I don't know what happened tonight. He was totally out of it. It was poor decision making. It was awful touches. It was very, very strange. I don't know what was going on with that right there. And like I said, that's where it felt like the air went out on that first goal, where everybody just sort of looked around and was like, well, Messi scored against us. What are we going to do? And that's where I do think you fall back into the cliches, because up until that moment, we were doing very well. Go look at, whatever your chart of choices, the G+ chart from America's Soccer Analysis, the momentum meter on FOTMA, whatever you want. It looks all us and up until that first goal, and then it's a collapse. And that is, I don't even think this is cliche sports talk radio stuff. I think that's mentality. And I think you fix that with players who are able to rally and get themselves together. And I will say, I think on the field, absolutely, Ender for Yedlin makes all the sense in the world. But I wonder if we lost something without Yedlin, without Miazga on the field, being able to rally the troops and pick their chins back up.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder about that too. But like, it's hard not to know that Ender wasn't Ender was the most dangerous person on the field for most of the
last 2 months, he might have been our best player. Bar none. Like, maybe it's Brenner and maybe it's Ender.
Right. No, and that's where the hard part is that okay, you look at this roster and it's like, all right, whose fault was it tonight?
Yeah.
And I don't have a great answer for that, because so maybe this is the perfect loss to go into the offseason on, that there is no dog, that everyone is equally at fault, that this was a total team loss, that there wasn't anyone. And that's also part of why I hate all of these people that show up at this game wearing a Messi kit because they never have to deal with this. They just watch Messi play. And if like Messi's team loses, it's like, well, it wasn't his fault. He can't do everything by himself.
Right.
If you are not attached to a team, if you just root for a player, you are a fake fan of the sport. You are a fake fan, like by definition, a fake fan, because there is nothing will disappoint you. You can always take solace in how your guy played, independent of results. All you have is upside to your fandom. Your guy played well, but the team lost. Okay, my guy played well. Your guy played well and the team won. Hell yeah, my guy won and the team played well and they move on. But like, you never put anything at risk with that type of fandom, and that annoys me at like just a base level.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's super annoying when you've been following him. You know, you've seen what he's done for a long time now. It's not like you're attaching yourself to a young academy prospect and you're super stoked that he's, you know, doing things. Like, I think it's fine to have like the local kid from your town or went to your school or played for your lower division team and is going on. That's fine. That shouldn't be your main focus. That should definitely not be your main focus. But yeah, cheer for him, have good things. Yeah. But to have a pre-established superstar where you're like, actually, all of my fandom points are going right there.
Right to that guy.
Get out of here. Get out of here. That's not how you do this. At that point, just like read comic books. You're like a Spider-Man fan or a Superman fan. Like, get out of here. And Chief, you're right. I think that in a lot of ways, this is the perfect loss. Like, it's devastating to the point where you can't even console yourself and say, well, you know, if the ball bounces this way or if the ref doesn't call that, like, you know, not to hand it to ISIS. I thought it was generally a very well-refed game. That actually makes me even more mad that we weren't sort of pressing the issue and fouling more. And also, I wish I had like an easy scapegoat to say like, oh, that wasn't a handball, which shouldn't have called that penalty or whatever. And then you also start looking at like, okay, why are we relying on, you know, teenage Hadabi, or why is this guy making that much, or why didn't the offense click? Is this a coaching issue? Is this a Chris Albright issue? Why isn't the academy producing enough? Why are these guys like Buka, who have been solid for years, suddenly having off nights? Like, there's enough blame to go around where you could make a solid argument for any one individual player as having played so poorly that they may have cost us the game. Not entirely, but like that they were a main focus of the failure. And I think you'd be right. I think you could point to Angle's terrible crossing. I think you could point to the fact that Evander and Denke had like 3 passes to each other combined the entire game. You can point to Brenner's awful misses. You can point to Samuel Guidi's giveaways. You can point to Miles Robinson being the leader of a defense that just gave up 4 goals to a team that they were undefeated against and hadn't lost at home since 2021, Chief. That's a long time in FC Cincinnati world. Like, you go up and down this roster and like nobody, Roman was playing, you know, I thought he did very poorly on that one-on-one. It's a tough spot for a keeper, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what he's doing there. Like nobody's covering themselves in glory here. So I do think it is in that sense the perfect game to now walk into the offseason with and go, okay, like nothing is sacred. How do we fix this?
Yeah, I didn't think that the starting lineup was exactly what I would have wanted to see in this game. So from that standpoint, I don't know that I have any quibbles with the managerial decisions. And in terms of the substitution patterns, I thought it was funny that they sub Luca Orishano on and a goal is scored within 15 seconds again for a second straight game. He might be the most unlucky sub in club history. I don't know, like tough. If he needs to talk to a priest or, you know, get like a cleansing energy thing, like some crystals or some shit like that.
I don't remember it happening earlier in the year, but I kind of want to go back and be like, did we always give him a goal within a couple of minutes of him subbing in? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, it's not great. Not great. And what's fun about it this entire night is it just was off from jump. which I guess is good because you don't go into the offseason thinking, oh, we almost had this. Oh, this was so close. We were just like, nah, you got dog walked in a playoff game on your own home turf by a team that you were a lower seed then. And when we started recording this, I don't know what the score is right now, but like NYCFC was beating Philly last I looked. They're still beating 90th minute, which means we would have been in position to host. We would have been in position to host the next round, and we would have been an NYCFC game here at TQL Stadium away from the MLS Cup, which would also have been hosted at TQL Stadium. So
yeah, a game we would have been favored in.
Yeah.
In fairness, I mean, did we dogged on them that one time at the Street Side Live show? And ever since then, Vegas has proved to be pretty accurate on this. We were very much the underdogs against Miami.
Yeah.
And Miami has been rolling through these playoffs. I know they had to go to game 3 with Nashville, but they won that game 3 4-0. They're clearly stumbled.
They're beating the hell out of teams right now. And it was what, like we talked about on the show on Thursday. I was like, look, this is like, they're really good.
Yeah.
They have peaked to an even greater degree than the FC has.
Yeah.
And I hate the guy. I'm sick of his shit. But I think Messi has 3 assists and a goal in this game. And he has, I think, now 14 goal contributions in the last 7 games, something like absurd like that.
Chief,
it's just.
I like to think we played a small part in this. I think MLS fans correctly are so tired of Messi that we have actually gotten to the point where we've kind of underrated him. Like, he is having one of, if not the greatest seasons of any one player in any league ever. Like, he is doing right now what everybody sort of assumed Messi would do to France and what they thought he would do to MLS. And he's been very good in MLS, but he hasn't, smashed every record. There's still a couple of them out there hanging around that he hasn't beat. But in this game and this playoff run and this last month, he has absolutely shown it. I mean, look, I'll be the first one to tell you we missed the Supporter Shield by 1 point. I guess I should also point out we tied Miami and beat them on wins. Like, they were also that close to being there. So, yeah, man, like it's wild to have this happen. So, oh man.
It's tough. I don't even know what to like. There's no point in discussing any of the individual moments with all this.
I don't think so.
It's just,
the bad moments were bad.
Yeah. And it's annoying that they gave up a header to the shortest guy on the field.
Yeah.
But
he scored almost 1,000 goals. They said that was like his 30th headed goal.
Yeah. And of course, it was just like against us right here. Just like, yeah absolutely.
It's always funny when they do the Ronaldo Messi comparison. Sometimes it'll get that granular and you look at headed goals and like Ronaldo scored like half of his goals with his head and Messi scored almost none.
Right. It sort of is what it is right here.
Yeah, but we got to see one. Chief, I think we should not talk about this moment of the game. Perhaps my favorite moment of the game happened right before the game.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this portion right here. Hell
I was inundated with photos of a jumbo screen. Tell
the people what we witnessed, Kevin.
One of you out there, one of the 12, was picked to be the deliverer of the match ball for the game. A nice little ceremonial thing. They usually give it to, a nice big sponsor or a contest winner, something like that. I don't remember the exact circumstances of what got this individual to do this, but they came out carrying the match ball to present it, to put it on the little podium, wearing a hoodie with a one of the 12 Cincy postcast print from Cincy shirts on their hoodie. It was incredible. if that was you, and I'd like to think you are listening because one, you are wearing the merch, and two, if I were you, I would be curious to hear what the host's reaction was. Get in contact, okay? I want to know. I want to have you on the podcast. I want to know who you are and how this happened.
Hell yeah.
I think that is very funny. That was a great moment. Also, shout out to the Forge. My children very much appreciated what I can only assume was a K-pop Demon Hunters reference of our attacking front three being demons, aka the Saja Boys, something that we did discuss with Nick Haglund on the podcast. So well done to get a TIFO up. It was very funny. We had an entire episode where we talked about how crazy it would be if there was a TIFO for Miami. And I think the morning we hit publish was the morning they said, hey, we have a design. We're trying to get a TIFO done before this game. It's like, well, screw me. I guess we're doing this.
Right. Where we warned everyone, like, now, be careful. It's obviously that it's going to be difficult to have a TIFO on such short notice. Like, this is going to be difficult. Like, it doesn't always work out this way. Like, oh, no, we've got something planned for you guys. It's going to be all right.
Oh, my God. So well done.
Oh, my.
It's a shame the team couldn't match your effort there. Thank you to everybody. I also noticed that they had planned 2 nights of painting and got it all done on the first night, which I don't think has ever happened before. So well done. There's usually like, we plan on doing this in 2 nights and, we need it a third night to get this done.
Right.
So,
but in this case, no, we were good. We got it all done.
So well done. The fans, I think, did their part. Chief, could I get a review of the glowing stick thing in the stadium?
It wasn't for me. I know what they were trying to do here, but it just didn't work out. Like, it was too early in the night, I think, to do that. And so as a result, I think it didn't quite come off. I did notice, though, that they were making everyone pour their beers into cups, which I was like, dude, if everybody else has to deal with cans of beer in people's hands, Leo should have to deal with cans of beer in people's hands. Like, there should be some thought here that this is a dangerous situation for him to be in. But what do I know?
I don't need it to be dangerous. I just want it to be, a threat of danger. But pregame. I need there to be a possibility of drinking a can full of piss. Like, yes. A la Cucho.
I need that to be out there as a possibility.
Yes.
I don't know. Is there anything else in this game before we move over to part 2 and just clean up some stuff?
No, I think that's it.
Oh yeah, my last one. Well, I'm moving some hot takes out right here.
Please.
I don't know what the name of this song is, but the song the Bailey does, we have the hearts of lions, Juvunkta junk, whatever the fuck it is, we triumph. That song needs to die. It's like super low energy, and they were playing it after we were. Yeah, no, it sounds like a funeral dirge. I'm sorry, like anything else but that one. I love the Knights. I love the Bailey. I love everyone trying. That song is. It's time to put that into the vault and make that be a rarity, if you will.
Yeah, I will sympathize here with Das Harks. I think the original intent is to lean heavy into the arm movements with that one, and nobody does the arm movements. If everybody does the arm movements, it's incredible. Nobody does the arm movements.
Right.
So, yeah, that's tough. But yeah, need some energy out of the Bailey. But yeah, good job to everybody in the trenches fighting. Everybody didn't leave early. And
no, everyone stayed. Like, the amount of people that were still there, just sort of like, well, I've come this far, I may as well watch this out to the end. It was heartwarming a little bit.
Yeah. Elimination playoff game. Like, I'd be, especially with the prices of those tickets, I'd be getting every last second of entertainment or value out of that seat.
Or just, I'm going to sit here until they kick me out. The hell with it.
Yeah. How late can you stay in your seat?
I don't know. Let's go over to part 2. Let's talk a little bit of big picture about the roadmap for the off season. We have a schedule release that happened that we can talk a little bit about.
I forgot about that.
And then we'll get out of here because I
Yeah.
think that there's only a limited amount of time people want to consume FC Cincinnati content on a Monday morning after a thing like this.
Yeah, and I suspect we're already at that. So let's do that.
Do it.
Chief, we are back, part two. And it is a sort of look ahead to the off season. I think we'll do more big picture sort of related takes and stuff as we go throughout the rest of the year. Yeah, I think at least for the postcast, one, we don't have this fully fleshed out, but generally speaking, when we go into the off season, we move to one episode a week. Maybe we revisit that. Last year, we were finding that with the number of transfers and especially the Lucho saga, that was actually weirdly hard to not want to jump back on and keep recording. Right. But I think the intention is one episode a week from here on out. But Chief, I mean, we talk about this and this is funny. For a mid-season break, perhaps it's a long time. It's not a long off season. It's going to come up quick. The first game is February 21st. Presumably, we'll have a Champions League match around then, before then.
It's about 3 months then. So it's a little shorter, a little longer than we were hoping for, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have the world. I think probably what we'll end up doing is the World's Gam on Thursdays still and the postcast on Monday mornings. It's interesting too that this team has a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah.
But also not a lot of decisions to make in this regard, and that barring something truly unforeseen, and from what I have seen so far, it doesn't look like anyone went rogue in their post-game press conferences. I was on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
I did not see anyone go bananas after the season was over. So that's a positive.
I mean, look, not only did we have that happen last year, Portland had that happen last year with Evander. So it was on the table, right? So
So he did not. NYCFC headed to the Eastern Conference Finals versus Inter Miami. There you go. That would have been us.
Yeah.
Neat. But what we don't have this offseason as of right now, and this is, again, you don't know how any of this plays out, but we're going into the offseason, and this is the first time in a while we're going into an offseason fully loaded on every premium roster spot. That we are going into the offseason with 3 designated players, Miles Robinson, which we're going to talk a lot about that one specifically because he was part of an awful defense tonight that cost this team the ability to play forward.
Gave up 4 goals. Yep.
So designated player rotation of Miles Robinson, Evander, and Kevin Denke. We are full up on U22s. We're going to be on the 3 U22 model going forward, and those are going to be Ender Echenike, Gilberto Flores, and Sammy Yeedy. Dominic Markzuk will be playing somewhere else next year, almost certainly.
Yep.
Now, so if you are looking at this offseason thinking like, oh, well, can FC Cincinnati make a big splash signing? The answer is almost certainly no. It is going to be a lot of around the edges, and they, but that's not to say they won't have the ability to do business. They are looking at, the potential of Matt Miazga not being back next year, Kubo not being back next year.
Teenage Hadabi
not being back next year.
You've got almost $4 million in salary to play around with, which is about.
It's a lot, but it's also, you have to remember that can't cut. No one player can make more than 1.5 million of that. So there is no ability to bring in a big signing, quote unquote big, but there's going to be opportunities to bring players in. There's an open question as to whether or not Lucas Engel, he is on a loan. They're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to pick his option up. Immediately as we sit here, like a couple hours after that game ends, I don't know that I'm in a hurry to pick up Lucas Engel's option.
Yeah.
Now, I get that there's a lot of that is how things ended right there, but I don't know that I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're going to get some yam from the Alvaro Boreal signing, which apparently that is, if it hasn't been made official, it is close to being made official as you can possibly be with the way things have worked out. So, you know, it's going to be a different kind of offseason. There's not going to be a Kevin Denke coming in. There's not going to be, you know, a big name player coming in to fix this. They're going to have to fix it in the TAM, you know, the TAM player and the, you know, the sub TAM player threshold, which is different for Chris Albright and FC Cincinnati.
Yeah. So right now, I'll run through this real quick. So exactly as Chief said, those U22 spots, those DP spots under contract for next year, no options, no nothing, just under contract. Luca Orishano, Pavel Buca, Obina Wobodo, Roman Celentano. That's on the senior roster. And then you will also have Nick Hagland, Dado Valenzuela, Paul Walters, Stefan Schirilla. Everybody else is either on an expiring contract or has an option to be picked up. I'm also, for the sake of this exercise, going ahead and assuming that Barrial is indeed transferred out for that roughly $4 million number that has been reported. And to Chief's point, when I plug all of this into my calculator, I end up with a net budget surplus of somewhere between $8 and $9 million for this team to spend. However, as Chief pointed out, the most any one player can make is $1.8 million in salary, and that has to include the transfer fee amortized in that. So you're not going to see a transfer fee for more than $4.5 million for any one player.
I mean, $4 million would even be kind of pushing it, because like once you get to that range, the player you're buying is probably going to be asking for a salary of more than $500,000. So you're really talking about you're looking and you're shopping in the range of probably $3 million in a transfer fee on a 4-year deal.
Yeah. And we've seen Albright work plenty of magic with loans. That's what Angle is. That's what Mosquera was in the past. That's what Brenner is right now. Orishano was a league minimum loan at one point. And also, I'd keep an eye on MLS free agents. They don't require a transfer fee. You can offer them quite a bit of salary. So maybe a Walker Zimmerman, maybe someone in that profile.
Yeah, no, Matt Doyle was already suggesting someone like a Justin Hack, who's a center back from NYCFC, I believe, who's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Although they're continuing on in the playoffs. Who knows what's going on with that, too?
Yeah. So plenty to look at this offseason as the roster gets filled out. But as I'm looking at it right now, there is a lot of roster that needs filled out. There is a deceptively large amount of money, and I think you can read that in both directions. It both can't be used to bring in high end players. However, as we already discussed, in theory, a large core of this roster is already established. For
better or worse.
Yeah, right.
Right,
your mileage may vary as to how you feel about that.
So, Kevin, let me ask you the big question right here that I think, you know, we're obviously going to spend a lot of time talking about this, and we'll be covering it as we go along. As we sit here Sunday, November 23rd, around 10 o'clock p.m., do you expect a move for one of the three designated players or one of the three U22 players?
I would not expect it for the U22 players. I would not expect even an offer from one of those, right? Or for one of those. Not impossible. I just wouldn't expect it. On the DP front, I think Kevin Denke is secure here. I don't think if you
even with his sort of no-show in the playoffs, like he scored one goal against Columbus in game one, and that's it. And then was invisible pretty much for the rest of the series.
For sure. Don't take any of this as I'm thrilled with their various performances, particularly.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just asking.
I'm saying no, specifically because of that. I don't think there's anybody out there who would want Kevin Denke that could pay the price that would make FC Cincinnati give up Kevin Denke. So you paid $16 million for him. Let's say you're willing to lose $2 million on Kevin Denke. No reason to believe there is. I don't think there is any team in the world that would pay you $14 million for Kevin Denke right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I think you go to Miles Robinson. And I don't think that there's somebody out there, unless there's like language in his contract that lets him go. I don't think he's going to go anywhere that he will make that much money. So there may very well be a multi-million-dollar offer for Miles Robinson. He's not getting $4 million playing anywhere else in the world. Right. I don't think, unless a Premier League team has been convinced by Pochettino that, you know, Miles Robinson is the cure to whatever they're doing over there, or a championship team, and Miles wants to do that. I just don't think that's happening. If that was going to happen, Miles would not have signed the new contract. He would have just tested the market.
Hard to believe that was the case.
And that does leave Evander. Evander is a player that I think would have a market internationally. It is a player that has played internationally in Europe and is a player that, you know, $12 million. Could you see somebody offering 10 for him? Yeah, I actually could. And do you entertain that offer? I think you entertain it. I don't necessarily think they do it. It'll depend a lot on his own mentality. Does he want to come back? Does he believe in the project? Does he want to do this?
He's decided at many points in his career that like he's not in. And that's why we have him right now, is that he decided for whatever reason that in Portland, not for me, not in on this.
And so, yeah, maybe there's an offer from, I don't know, anywhere in Europe, right? So anywhere in Europe, Middle East, Turkey, even down in Brazil. We've seen Brazilian teams come back and buy MLS players for quite a bit of money. Alvaro Barriel being one of them. So I think there would be a market for Evander. And given, so on one hand, Evander is one of the 10 most talented players in this league, but he is such an odd character that like he has this thing where he will just turn off, and you don't wonder if you couldn't do something else with that position, DP or otherwise, right? If you sell him and don't replace him, sure, we'll have plenty of questions about the Miles Robinson DP thing. But now that's $2 million extra. You're talking about $11 million to build a team of all starting players and like the first three guys off the bench making more than the max salary.
Maybe.
Or U22. But yeah.
But also it's like, it leads to the second question. And that's I would say that the best player that FC Cincinnati had in the playoffs, I don't even think it's close, is Brenner.
Yeah.
And as best I can tell, and as best I've heard from the various people that, you know, you talk to, talk to around the league, that you talk to that are, you know, connected in some way to the club, I don't know that there's a way to keep him. I don't know. Yeah. I know there is not a way to keep him that does not involve losing another designated player somewhere else.
Yeah, there's no version of this where he comes back as a TAM player or
there's no chance.
Not a DP. Yeah,
I don't think there's a chance. Like the contract or the terms of the buy option are such that is not possible. I think the only way it would be possible is if there was something that was renegotiated with Udinese and something that was renegotiated with Brenner to where he would take significantly below market value to come back, which I just don't see as being the case. And so as a result, I think that you are in a position where if you are saying that there is not going to be a change in the three designated players, I think you are also saying goodbye to Brenner. And your mileage may vary as to how excited you are by that potential or that possibility. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Like, I don't
it's
know.
It's a tough game to be his last one. It was probably his worst game since coming back.
Yeah, and it's funny that if you're in the position that like they cannot make money back for Kevin Denke to the point that it makes sense to lose him, are you in the position where you want 2 of your 3 DPs to be strikers, and you have 2 strikers, and then you're going with what, a Max Tam replacement in the midfield playing the 10 as an attacking mid?
Oh, no, Chief. We're going supplemental roster to replace him. Dado Valenzuela, baby. Let's go.
All right, so not to give ISIS credit, I do want to know, and I do want someone to ask, what is up with the fact that he couldn't see the field the entirety of the playoffs and down the stretch? I'm not even a Dado believer. I'm not a hater, but like, right. I gotta know, what is the deal with this guy just not being able to get minutes? I think he finished the season still as one of the top 5 goal scorers on this team. Yeah. I
think you're right, but here, I'm going to try to quickly do this while I do this. But yeah, like, why is Jabari getting minutes when he hasn't shown us anything more than what Dado has done?
I'm not going to take Jabari. I'm not going to take Jabari slander. He played very well in that third game versus the Columbus Crew. But I agree in principle with this idea that, like, if you are giving minutes to Jabari, where is Dado? And also, like, not for nothing, I'd also like to know, like, what happened with Kai Kamara? Like, he was a dude that you were starting earlier in the year, and it was just like, what? Just no? Like,
against Miami with Dado, by the way. Chief, just to go back to that point. At one point, I said Brenner's ceiling is Dado Valenzuela.
You might have been wrong on that one.
Brenner finished with 6 goals. Dado finished with 5 goals on the season. I don't think this includes playoff goals. I could be wrong about that, but there you go. Dado finishes as the 4th highest goal scorer on this team with 5 goals. It was the newly arrived Brenner who shoved Dado so much further down the depth chart, who finishes with 6. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's an argument for ditching Evander and keeping Brenner. Is that a thing? That's expensive. Does Brenner want to do that? Like, Brenner was probably told by Udinese, go on loan. Like, you're not going to play for us. Go on loan. Like, let's keep you sharp. And when he heard that, he wanted to go back to Cincinnati. Made a lot of sense, and we could use him, right? But I don't think Brenner is saying, I'm giving up on Europe. I never want to play in Europe. I never want to play for Udinese. I never want to go back to Italy. I suspect he is now going to go back to Italy and try to compete for a starting job, having been newly invigorated from his time in Cincinnati. And not for nothing, he has been hurt for a lot of his time in Italy. So maybe now that he's nice and healthy, he can compete for that job. I don't even know if Brenner wants to be here.
Or he has built his value enough that in the upcoming January transfer window that there's another club in Europe that will pay Udinese something once FC Cincinnati turns that deal down, because they have no room for a designated player on their roster. I think that's a very likely outcome. And you wish it was a happier ending with Brenner here in Cincinnati, but like, if he used this to build his value back and we all got some closure and we had some happy memories with Brenner and everybody wins out of all this, you know, it was a fun, it doesn't change the fact that it was a fun story for the couple of months that he was here.
We talked about, Sergio Santos's transfer was worth it because of the assist on the New York Red Bull goal in the playoffs in 2022. This entire Brenner experiment was worth it for knocking out the Columbus Crew in Game 3.
Oh, no doubt. Like, no doubt. Like that, like the shot of him eliminating the Crew and giving the fact of, like, every single Crew fan in my mentions tonight saying, oh, you lost. I'm like, yeah, but you watched us on TV, you weirdo. Like, that's Brenner. That's Brenner also, that is enabling me to do that.
And Brenner's fine for celebrating that goal prompted somebody, don't know who, to tweet about it and raise something like $2,500 for local food bank. Like, Crazy.
Hey, big win.
Yeah.
So that'll be the storyline of the offseason. We'll talk more about that, I suspect, because we're going to have a lot of time to kill between now and the start of February.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. The other bit of news I guess we should touch on before we get out of here. Kevin, for some unknown reason, MLS decided in mid to late November this year that we're just going to just up and release the schedule.
Sure. Middle of the playoffs. Great time for it.
Right. Just when everybody's thinking about next year. There's nothing better than a league that's already telling you to think about next year in the middle of their playoffs. Like that's a choice. It's not my choice, but it is a choice, if that makes sense.
Couldn't do it the day after MLS Cup. Couldn't do like a very funny, like, hey, have all of your social media teams pre-record all the videos and release it on Christmas or Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas, whatever you want.
Day after Christmas, yeah. Like when everybody's like, what's going on in sports? It's like, okay, here.
Yeah.
Nope, we're going to do it between the first round of the playoffs and the second round of the playoffs. That's the best time.
And right
to do
before
this, right?
Thanksgiving and when everybody's checking out.
Kevin, you pointed this out as well. It appears they are on the winter schedule already.
They're already doing it, man.
By virtue of the fact that there will have to be a extended break this summer due to the World Cup. So the league is basically going dark for the majority, if not the entirety of June.
All of June and most of July. And the last week of May. Now, I think that is a unique thing to the World Cup years where there is like this pre-World Cup window right before in June. And so I think in most normal years, you would go all the way to the end of May, even that first week of June. I seem to remember like Champions League finals being that last or the first Sunday in June or something like that. So I think that's a unique thing to the World Cup. But yeah, you're already talking about like a 7-week break, I think it is, in the middle of the season. And this is what I try to tell people, that like you're already taking a winter break in the summer for these international tournaments. And if it's not this break, it's your teams playing through the breaks, which also makes us mad. But Chief, this also has Decision Day on November 7th. That is right before that international break, which means following the international break, no more international breaks, and we get the full sprint of the playoffs, which I think will now have to end in like mid-December. So we're going at least a week, maybe 2 further into December, which is kind of what they were talking about before with this winter schedule flip. And I think we're starting a week earlier in February. We're living that life, baby.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't like the schedule next year. It's going to be annoying having the World Cup break the schedule up. I don't know. Having the World Cup here in the United States still hasn't really dawned on me like what that's going to entail. I think it's also like once Cincinnati lost out on being a host city, it feels like somebody else's tournament where it's like, oh yeah, no, that's something that's happening elsewhere. And I had a friend text me earlier last week and asked me, hey, are you going to any of these World Cup games? And I was like, I haven't even thought about that. I have no idea. Like we're in the stage right now where people are getting tickets, but they don't know who's playing in various places. Like I'll check and see if there's a matchup I like that I can drive to, maybe I'll do a game, but I haven't even thought that far ahead. So,
well, that's what's funny. It's like the drivable ones, quote unquote, are Toronto, Atlanta, Philadelphia. I think there isn't one in Nashville. There isn't one in Chicago. There isn't a Kansas City, I guess, is maybe drivable.
No, Kansas City's pretty far.
Yeah. I mean, these all depend on like what your definition of drivable is. Like, Philly is still like a like 8-9 hour car ride?
9 hours away. Yeah, no, it's a ways. Like Philly is a poke.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania is a big state to drive across.
Yes, and I think Toronto is like 7 or 8 hours, and Atlanta I think is like 6. Right? It's been a while, but like
6 or 7. Yeah, no, but it depends on traffic around Atlanta.
once you've already decided like you got to fly there, to me, and I know this is dumb, all air travel takes the same. So if I've got to fly to London or I got to fly to Atlanta, I have to get on an airplane and it's a whole thing. So they're the same distance away. It doesn't matter anymore.
Once you set foot in the airport, it's like all these flights are the same. 3 hours to LA, 6 hours to London. It's all the same thing to me. It's a question of how much time I spend sitting at the gate versus sitting on the flight. It's just you're just bending it one way or the other, like how long my layover is versus anything else.
For me, it's local is just like a binary thing. Is it local? Yes. Is it local? No. It's like, so it's in Tokyo, it's in Jacksonville. These are the same things.
So from your point of view, like this World Cup is the same as the World Cup in Qatar. Like they're just
exactly
fundamentally all right, fair enough.
Now, if there was a game in Nashville or a game in Chicago, which was on the table, very different. Yeah, absolutely.
No, then at that point, it's like
I'm absolutely going to one of those.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Plus, also, like once a flight gets involved, you are now at the mercy of like how many other people have already decided that they want to go. Yeah. Versus like in the car, it's like I can just go. I'm not worried about like other people that are choosing to go as well. But like now it's like, oh well, if I haven't already bought my tickets, I'm screwed. I agree with you on that.
Chief, I'm not as an experienced flyer as you, and certainly not Grayson, but is there a SeatGeek for airplane tickets? Like, is there a way where I can scalp World Cup airline tickets in a way?
If there were, these tickets would already be like millions of dollars. Like
I'm just saying, any flight into Atlanta, I'm jacking up my rates.
Thank God that does not. Don't give them ideas like at all.
It just feels like a thing that I won't say should exist, but it feels like a thing that would probably already exist. So there you go. Oh man. So we'll man, I used to remember we would run through the regular season schedule as like the New Year's episode, but now we've got it pre-Thanksgiving.
Now we've got it already. Yeah, no, we've already got everything figured out now. It's already done.
I will say early contenders for away days. I mean, it's hard not to look at San Diego, and we have all been clamoring for a Montreal game that would make sense. And there doesn't.
We finally have a Montreal game that makes sense, and it's not even that close to the end of the year. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it's in September. That's way far away. It's like, no, we've got like another 2 months to go before the season ends at that point.
Yeah, and it might not be like Parkas season in September, so that would be nice,
right? So yeah, no, we'll have plenty of opportunity to do that. We'll break down the schedule with Grayson here. I just thought it was very funny to me that they are releasing the schedule so early, but like we still can't get kits released in a timely fashion. We're in the middle of the playoffs
right now. You can do the schedule in December. Release the kits now. They're releasing the wrong thing early.
Done. Yeah, do that. What the hell are we doing here?
What they should do is they should release the kits on the day of MLS Cup final, and the teams play in the new kit. I think that would be fun.
Or just do whatever it takes to make sure that you can buy one and give people a Christmas gift. Like that's all. Like
that's really what it is.
Even if they're just in the kids' sizes, like let the kids get a kit for Christmas.
It is so crazy that they do not do that.
This league, man, I love it. I also think I hate it.
They care too much about the kits. Like I look at how like the rest of the world deals with kits. They just post it one day. It's like, hey, here's the new kit for next year. You can buy it if you want.
Right. It gets spoiled when like EA, FIFA releases. It's like, oh, is that really our kit for next year? It's like, no. It's not going to look that bad. And then like 2 months later, it's like, oh, it's the same kit they released on EA, FIFA. And you were just deluding yourself right here.
Yeah. No, these MLS teams would rather you like get the GM's social security number than figure out what the kit is going to be.
Right. No, we're talking state secrets there with that sort of shit. Oh, it's annoying. Kevin,
I don't want to be in off-season mode, Chief.
I don't want to do it either, but we were forced. This is forced on us. We were overconfident, and this is our punishment right here.
We were. Yeah. We should have all walked into that stadium more nervous.
I mean, I walked into that stadium nervous. I don't know about y'all, but like I was very nervous walking into that stadium.
Oh, man.
Well, I guess the only hope we have is that somebody decleats Messi from NYCFC and ends his career or something like that.
I mean, NYCFC feels like the team that would be able to do that. So
I don't even feel bad about rooting for injury for an opponent. Like it's just I said it during the game. I was like, if we're gonna lose, can somebody snap this guy's leg and just feel it?
I just need to take a trophy home.
Right. I need someone that feels like that this means something to them too.
Yeah.
I need them to feel it. I don't know, Kevin. We're in the off-season mode. It's too early. I don't think we were prepared for this, but I don't know what else to say, but fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They are a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.